The Orlando Magic have a golden opportunity to get exactly what they need in this upcoming NBA draft. They got 2 picks, number 16 and number 25. So we're going to be speculating what they could potentially do. And I think Jase Richardson might just be a really, really good fit for the Orlando Magic. We're going to do a deep dive into who he is, how did he play last season, and where will he most likely go. Talk about what some of the scouts have been saying and exactly what or how does he fit with the Orlando Magic. But first, guys, before we get into all of that, welcome into Magic Digest. I'm your host, Patrick Previty. As always, this is your one-stop shop for Orlando Magic basketball content here on YouTube. Now, 29.2% of you guys who are watching these videos regularly are subscribed, so I appreciate you guys, but 70.8% aren't, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel out greatly. Trying to continue to build off of this Orlando Magic basketball community that we have here on this platform. Okay, so Jase Richardson, who exactly is he? What does he do? Quick synopsis, quick rundown. Shifty, playmaking, smaller guard that can score at all 3 levels of the game, is a good shooter. Playmaking is improving. He's not the passer that maybe a lot of people would like, but his game is built in a way that projects that he can take another jump at the next level. It's almost like his game is more centered towards the NBA than it is college basketball. We get a lot of prospects like that nowadays, especially since college basketball has just feels like it's, taken a massive has massive distance away from the way that the NBA plays. He obviously son of an NBA player. His dad played at Michigan State as well, so he's got that going for him a little bit, and he's being mocked a lot to the Orlando Magic and at the end of the lottery. So we'll have to see exactly if he does end up falling to number 16, but he's not going to probably fall to number 25. So this will be with the number 16 pick. Okay, so as I mentioned, he's got that NBA legacy in him. His dad's Jase Richardson, so he's got that. He's not as athletic, so that's the big thing I wanted to talk about. So that's where we'll start with the player breakdown here. Not exactly a positive, but I definitely think it can kind of be spun into a positive, I should say, rather. So since he's not as athletic or not as big, I think that is where some of his pre-draft measurables are coming into play, and that could potentially cost him from being higher in the first round lottery to being mid-first round, maybe like late teens range. He is about 6 feet tall, 6'1" without shoes, and then 6'2" with shoes, and he was listed at 6'3" at Michigan State. Everybody kind of saw this coming, that was probably a favorable listing for him, so he's a little bit shorter. He did have a 38-inch max vert, but still, that's not his game. He's not an above-the-rim player. He's not some sort of shorter guard that can just dunk on you like John Moran or Russell Westbrook. That's not his game. He's more shifty. He's very quick, maybe quicker than fast would be the good explanation for him, but he's not exactly going to wow you through all of those athletic or the measurables. So that should be noted. Now, last season, he started out a little bit slower, but then was able to take on more of the offensive output and was able to come up big for Michigan State. They went to the Elite Eight. They were able to have a 30-7 record, I believe. So that was obviously huge. He averaged 12 points per game last year, 3.3 rebounds, 1.9 assists, and that came just over 20. He had a usage rate of 20% towards the end of the year. So he didn't get a ton of run, but he was still just really good. And it was something that I think was super positive to see and really good for him. Okay, so what does this shooting look like? How good of a shooter is he? Well, I think he's a really talented shooter. He's got some points that we probably would like to see improvement on, but I'm going to try to read them out here for you. He's 41% from 3, 45% on catch and shoot opportunities, 50% when unguarded on any opportunities, 84% from the line as well, which shows good mechanics. And if you see his jump shot, it is actually pretty fluid. He's very good off the dribble and catch and shoot, all sort of facets. He's a crafty kind of guy, and he can get open. And his shot just seems a lot more natural, and you see that with these different percentages as well as the free throw line. 43% on mid-range attempts as well. Now this is kind of where we would like to get a little bit better, but 35% on floaters. If he can get that, it would really add to his game, especially with finishing at the rim. Now, he's not bad at finishing at the rim. He's actually pretty good, but if he can add that in-between game and that floater, I definitely think that would be the next step for him, but he doesn't have that right now. But 35% on floaters, if he adds that, it would be really good. 69% at the rim overall, 64% at the rim from the half court, and then 60% true shooting, which puts him into pretty great company as far as college basketball in recent history is concerned. 60% true shooting is very good. So the NBA mock drafts are, getting him at like late lottery to like mid-teens. So I think that is something to really watch out for. He's the only reason he would drop is simply athleticism. Can the smaller guard work in the NBA? Can he do what he did at Michigan State? Is that something that they're going to weigh as heavily and that's different depending on the organizations, right? That's team to team thing. But that's why he's dropping. That's why he is where he's at. But he's nowhere in anybody's mock drafts going out of the first round or like really, really late first round. So that is something to keep an eye on. Now, let's get into what exactly the scouts are saying. Now, this comes from Fox Sports. Richardson has everything you want from a combo guard, the ability to penetrate the lane, find the open man, and knock down jumpers. But measuring at just over 6 feet at the combine, he falls just outside the lottery. If he was 6'3" or 6'4", he'd be a top 10 pick. Slightly, I think that's interesting. I wouldn't call it redundant, but I just wanted to say, if you say, it's like you say everything that's positive, and then you say, but with having said that, or there's just a major but there, and it's like maybe we can get past this at this point, right? Like if he's only a couple inches shorter, that shouldn't really matter, but certainly I think that this is going to be something that really kind of affects his draft stock. If you look at teams in the range Richardson is projected to be selected in the June 25 NBA draft, early teens to low 20s, there are 3 teams I think would be ideal for Richardson. Oklahoma City picks number 15, number 24, Orlando number 16, 25, and Minnesota number 17. Excuse me if I said number 15 for Orlando at all earlier today. That really threw me off there trying to read that, but there are the picks. I just simply don't think he's going to fall to 24 or 25 for OKC and Orlando's second picks. But I think that those are really interesting positions. I definitely think Minnesota would be very interested in that with an aging Mike Conley. All right, let's take another look at what Kevin O'Connor of Yahoo Sports has said. Richardson has been connected to the Hawks throughout the pre-draft process. In addition to other teams drafting in the late lottery, this is despite measuring in at only 6 feet at the NBA draft combine. Richardson is a skilled combo guard with a lethal mid-range game and a poised pick and roll feel, looking like he downloaded the experience of his NBA veteran father, Jase Richardson. Jase didn't inherit his father's height or dunk contest athleticism though, so his smaller stature caps his upside. But does that matter? Look at the way the Pacers and the Thunder play with tons of players who can fly around the floor and make quick decisions. That's Richardson's exact style. Okay, so I think you kind of get a feel for it. One thing I maybe didn't mention in the draft, or not my pre-draft evaluation that I was able to gather, was that he is considered a combo guard. He plays really well off the ball, but I just don't see him being that small and playing with the Orlando Magic as a 2 guard. Maybe if you can kind of run something with Anthony Black or Jalen Suggs, I don't know if I see it. I think those guys are so talented defensively that it's probably okay on defense. Like realistically, you could put those guys on the 2 guard and have him on the point guard or on just simply the shortest player on the floor, and then maybe it works. But offensively, it seems a little bit messy, a little bit tricky, because then you got Paolo and Franz in the front court, and it just feels like this. It just is all over the place with players' abilities, and I don't think it would gel as well. But if him coming off the bench for the Magic, or being able to have the ball in his hands, move Suggs to the 2, maybe he can play with Anthony Black. Well, that remains to be seen. I think Anthony Black is a super versatile player, so I think he still would be able to. And then I think you can go. Then I think you got to craft a guy who is a serious offensive threat in the NBA, handling the ball at the point guard position, and his playmaking can get there. I think that's the angle for it. I think that's how he fits with the Orlando Magic. If that's not something that you see, then fair enough. Then maybe he's not as great of a fit for the Orlando Magic. I just don't buy the 2 guard or the combo guard thing for him. But if you do, then he is an amazing fit for the Orlando Magic, and he's one of the top guys definitely for them to be looking at. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. We're just talking about keeping the picks right now. We don't know if this team is going to end up trading them, and if they do, it'll probably, you'd imagine, be on draft night or whenever they can end up making a deal like that. It's like 3 weeks away now, but we're just talking about keeping the pick. Is this a player that you want the team to choose? And let me know who else you guys would want me to potentially make a video on or take a deep dive on for the Orlando Magic. But as always, I'll see you guys next time with more Orlando Magic basketball content.